We stayed in Laos for a month. This is our 19th country that we visited together and our 4th country in 4 months of retirement.
Where are we?
Laos is a culturally rich country, but it also has a very sobering history.
You can see what a cluster bomb looks like.
It is a stunningly beautiful country, amazing mountains, waterfalls, rivers.
Swimming in Kuang Si Falls.
But we did visit in the burning season, which did change our experience of Laos in that sense.
You can hear the dust and burning in your voice.
We got to experience daily life in Laos.
I don't think it was too confronting though.
Got chicken in a bag, cunt.
And how happy and friendly Lao people are and how much fun they like to have. And we also had lots of fun in Lao.
Cheers.
So let us show you our experience in Lao. While we were here, we visited 3 different locations: Luang Prabang, Nong Kiao, and Vang Vieng. So let's take a look at our experience in Laos.
The first 3 months of retirement have been in places that we'd been before, New Zealand and Thailand. So they were very familiar to us and we knew what to expect.
And then we came somewhere completely new, somewhere neither of us had been before, a new country in Asia. We came to Laos, where everything really was unexpected. Early each morning in Laos, the monks are up before everyone. This is when the alms are done. Because they don't work, they will receive food, they'll receive items from the local public, but in Luang Prabang it's also become a bit of a tourist attraction where people will queue up and hand over items. Every man in Laos will become a monk at some point in their life. It could be when a family member passes away, or it could be just a time for self-reflection. There really are monks everywhere, young, old, every different age, and some are even in the Big Brother Mouse school.
This school provides the opportunity for locals to practice their English speaking skills. Every day from 9 to 11 in the morning or from 5 to 7 in the evening, anyone can go and join this English conversation practice. So tourists go to provide the service of speaking and the locals go to learn. We were really impressed by the students who went and how committed they were. Some of them go literally 7 days a week to practice their English. And you don't have to be an English teacher to go, just have to be able to speak English, and the emphasis is on communication. So we got to meet some locals, learn a little bit about the local culture, and sometimes it was children at the weekends, and generally a really rewarding experience that we would recommend to anyone. So here is one of the students that we met at this school.
Hello. So I'm really happy to meet you all. Yes. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Kuang. I'm 20 years old. I come from the countryside, but at the moment I live in Mekong. Yes.
And we had a nice 10-20 minute chat in Little Mouse School.
Yes.
Brother Mouse.
In Brother Mouse.
Yeah, in Big Brother Mouse School.
Big Brother Mouse School.
And we had so much fun. Yeah.
Great. Well, good luck with your English.
Thank you.
Your English is very good.
Thank you.
When we were in Cairns, something we used to do every week was visit our local markets, Rusty's markets. So we would go and buy our fruit and veg, we'd have a coffee, meet friends, have a chat. For us, this was a real slice of local life in Cairns. So as we travel, this is something we want to do to experience local culture, is visit the local markets. So in Luang Prabang, after the alms ceremony, we went along to the local markets there. The morning markets are much more a local market rather than a tourist market. People are selling, just like our market at home, fruit, vegetables, honeycomb, that was a little bit different, fish, meat, sugarcane, that was a little bit of a blast from back home, and pig's trotters. And we also saw tiny birds in tiny cages on this market.
We're up 6:30 in the morning in Nong Kiao in search of the market that doesn't seem to exist.
Not today. Let's go up there and follow where all the people went.
Is that an announcement for a market?
Yeah, turn right, go down that really small laneway and
Is that
it'll
what
lead
the
you there.
announcement's saying?
That's where all the locals are going with their bags. It must be. This would be the road on Google Maps.
We found the market.
What do you make of the local market then, Jill?
It's just like it would be our market at home with all your little knickknacks, your toiletries, your food, vegetables, squirrels. Not that we would have squirrels at home.
No, or fish. But why not?
Oh, there's food over there as well.
Oh, and all around the back too, as we go back up the other side.
It's a real local market.
Have to remember.
It's not a tourist market at all.
We also saw ladies selling tobacco at this market, and the thing that was the most different for us was the meat. So every single part of the animal was cut up and laid out on the tables, from the ears to the intestines to the feet. The bowls were big bowls of congealed blood that the lady would just scoop out with her hand and pop in a bag for those who wanted that. And not even the parts of the animal, just the kinds of animal were different. We saw squirrels and possibly rats.
He's got a chicken in a bag. Can't see him. A live chicken in a bag.
Luang Prabang also has night markets, which are predominantly for tourists and selling souvenirs and the like. And it was on these markets that we saw people selling things made from aluminium from old bombs that had been dropped on the country over 50 years ago. So they'd made spoons, bracelets, rings, bottle openers, key rings, and the like. So we went to the UXO Visitor Center to understand a little bit more about the history of this bombing. Okay, so we're in Luang Prabang at the UXO Lao Visitor Center, which tells us all about the bombing that happened in Laos over several years. I'm going to go in and find out more about it, but basically it's one of the most bombed countries in the world. And there's still lots of unexploded bombs in this country. So this is the visitor center. There's a documentary video that you can watch that explains what happened. And then there's examples of the bombs. You can see what a cluster bomb looks like. And there's stories of people who were affected by it all. And it's free entry, but you can make a donation afterwards, which will help support the clearing of these UXOs, so people can get back to farming. It's in the poorest areas of Laos that all the unexploded bombs are. So people can't earn a living because they have to farm these areas, and by farming it, they find the bombs, and people are killed or maimed from farming. I'm shocked that until we planned to come to Laos, I didn't know anything about this. I just had no idea that this had happened and that this had gone on. So they dropped a plane load of bombs every 8 minutes, 24 hours a day for 9 years. And 30% of those are still unexploded, and that's what they're finding now. It's causing all the problems now.
So in the 1960s, for about 10 years, the Americans were dropping the bombs all over the whole country, trying to cut the supply route to Vietnam for soldiers, but they didn't have the same rules as they had in Vietnam. Here it was just complete annihilation. So they dropped the cluster bombs. So they dropped 2 million of these. So when these fell to the ground, 30% didn't explode. When they dropped in the air, they just opened, and 30% of them didn't explode. So kids would pick them up, throw them in a fire to burn some more, and boom, gone.
So as a tourist, you're probably most aware of these unexploded bombs if you try to go up any of the viewpoints, of which there are many up in the hills. So you have to be particularly careful not to stray from the track, which for Ewan doing his trail runs up to these viewpoints, he had to be particularly careful to stay on the trail. We both took a walk up the Som Nang viewpoint, which is right next to the town of Nong Kiao. So this was about a 20-minute walk up lots and lots of steps to get to some truly spectacular views over the surrounding hills and down to the town of Nong Kiao. It really was worth the climb. And the only sad thing was knowing that we have seen pictures of this view and videos of this view in blue sky and sunshine. So the fact that it was the burning season meant that we did not see it in its full glory.
Okay, it's 6:45 in the morning on the 4th of April here in Nong Kiao in Laos, and this is what it looks like across the hills. So smoky. The AQI, which I've never had need to look at before, the air quality index, which is a standardized thing to say how polluted the air is, currently here is 200. I'll give a little bit of perspective. In North Shields, in England, north of England, where I grew up, it's currently 35. And in Cairns, where we've lived for the last 25 years, it's 19. So we've never had to worry about air pollution before. But now, yeah, 200. I can feel it in my throat, in my chest. And these people live with this every year. And it's this is largely because it's the burning season, where the farmers burn off all the crops, burn off space ready to plant the rice when the rains come. And it's been like this for years. So, not pleasant, but interesting and an education to be here and see this.
Another viewpoint we went up was Pusi Hill in Luang Prabang, which is in fact a temple and is very popular for sunset.
Okay, we just started climbing up Fuzi Hill in Luang Prabang.
Your pronunciation is not right. It is Pusi.
Pusi? Okay, Pusi Hill.
No, Pusi.
Pusi.
Yes.
Buddha's footprint. Oh, do you want to see Buddha's footprint? Okay, this is the imprint of Buddha's foot. Here. Oh, he had a big foot.
Yeah.
Big heavy foot, look at that. Imprint of Buddha foot. First stop, going up Pusi Hill. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing we found going up Pusi Hill was several Buddhas with the names of the days of the week. We found Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, but no Friday or Sunday. So that's my question to you. If you ever come up Pusi Hill in Luang Prabang, have a look for the Friday and Sunday Buddhas. If you find them, leave us a comment. Another thing we found was an empty bird cage at the top of the hill. This is like the cages we'd seen at the morning market, full of little birds. And on further investigation, we found that in Buddhism, releasing animals into the wild brings you good karma. And that's what people do at the top of Pusi Hill. The sunset itself was less than spectacular thanks to the smoke in the burning season, but it didn't stop many tourists trying to get that perfect photo of them holding or grasping the sun. So of course we had to have a go as well and get our own photo of me eating the sun. The other popular way to watch the sunset in Luang Prabang is on a cruise on the river.
One evening, we set off down to the banks of the Mekong River to find ourselves another cruise. Not a slow boat cruise, but evening sunset cruise from the river. There's all sorts of different boats available. They tend to start from 100,000 kip up to lots more, but mostly between 100 and up to 200. You always get a drink when you arrive on board. Some boats are very luxurious. The one we picked was kind of a bit not luxurious. Interesting sort of car seats. If it had been full, there could have been quite a few people on this. There could have been people from every nationality around the world. There could have been people singing karaoke. But in the end, there was a Korean couple, there was us, and there was a captain. Following that, I went a bit troppo down to the car ferry, and off we went for more cruising. Okay, I'm going to do a Mekong River crossing. I've got my beers for the boat. I just walked on, asked if I could come on, jumped on. He said yes. I did meet the lady with tickets, which is good. And I gave her my 5,000 for the sign. But she had a newer version of it on her boat that was PDF that reminded me that it was 10,000. The driver's having a good time. It's good to be on the other side of the river. Second on the boat, the girl with the watermelon was first, ready for the return trip. We must be close to halfway across from here. Cheers to the captain behind. Half an hour of bliss. On the boat, cruising, few cars, unique view, and cheers.
Here at Kuang Si Waterfall, about 30k out of Luang Prabang. We're here first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock. It's just opened and it's just us. Swimming in Kuang Si Falls. 542 steps, burned 93 calories. Welcome to The View. Pretty cool cafe. Up at The View, at the top of Kuang Si Falls. I'm going to hold on tight going across the swing bridge. Ooh, yikes. Okay, this is again up at the top of Kuang Si Falls. Another little swimming pool where you can swim a little bit along to the source of the river. I think it really is the source of the river. Oh no, crab. Freshwater crab. Oh yes, I can see it from here. Let me zoom in.
In Vang Vieng, we tried the tipsy tubing along the river. So after a hairy ride on the back of a tuk-tuk, we all got given our inner tubes and we walked down to the river banks where we were given a little bit of instruction and information. Then we hopped into the tubes and started floating down the river. This was really popular 20 to 30 years ago here in Laos, and there were hundreds of backpackers would float down the river, party lots, drink lots, and sadly, inevitably I guess, with so much alcohol and water, there were several deaths. As a result, it was banned for a while, but it has now reopened and is done in a much more controlled manner. So this was us at the first bar we stopped at, we had a drink there, and then it was back into the tubes to float down the river to the second bar. On the way between the first and the second bar, we had quite a long time, and we did actually see an elephant crossing the river, which was quite a surprise. So we watched that for a little bit as we floated. The distance between the first and the second bar seemed quite a long way. I think being the end of the dry season, the river wasn't very high or fast, so we had to do a lot of paddling, and it took us about an hour and a half to get between the first and second bar. But it was beautiful scenery and lovely, and we had chatted to the other people on the river. Our dry bag we discovered was not quite so dry, so our dry clothes inside got a little bit wet. All part of the fun. And when we got back to Vang Vieng town, we got to see all the local Lao people and how they party at the weekends, just sitting in the river, having dinner and drinks. So a really fun day. And a special shout out to Adam, who's the first person who's ever come up to us and said he recognized us from our YouTube video. Our time in Laos was defined by fire and water. Fire, because it was the burning season, and water, because we spent just so much time either on or in the water. In Nong Kiao, we got to watch from our hotel balcony every day the local villagers practicing for dragon boat racing. This was great to watch, and they were training for the dragon boat races between villages that would take place at Lao New Year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the races themselves because we went to Vang Vieng. But in Vang Vieng, we did get to see the New Year celebrations, which last a few days, where they say goodbye to the old year and then they spend time throwing water at each other and wishing each other Happy New Year to wash away all the bad things from the old year before welcoming in the new. Now, this day of throwing water around, we read, was one day, called Day of No Days, but certainly in Vang Vieng, it lasted 3 days. As you can see, these girls' faces are white. Sometimes the water is mixed with flour, so an added level of mess there. But this was such a fun time and a great way to end our time in Laos with the crazy celebrations of Lao New Year in Vang Vieng.
Lao New Year! Crazy all the way back to our hotel, getting soaked, loud music, crazy people. This is the day of no day, between the old and the new year, when you have to wash everything clean.
So that was our experience in Laos. Next stop, China.